Join us as we discuss everyday issues, sharing real stories with friends, laughing and learning together, touching lives one at a time, inspiring each other to live life in victory. This is Table Talk with Patience Mlengana.
Welcome to Table Talk. Today around the table with me is David Molapo again. Last week we spoke about the needs of men in marriage. This week we're going to focus on the needs of women in marriage. Welcome back, David Molapo. It's always great to have you here.
As Patience, once again, thanks for the opportunity, and you are dealing with a serious issue, marriage, you know. And again, we want to wish you well and God's blessing and favor upon your life.
Thank you.
As you reach these thousands and thousands of people.
Thank you.
It is true what it takes two to tango. Last week we spoke about the needs of men. Now, the number one need of a woman, and this is it's research now proven that the number one need of a woman is faithfulness in a marriage.
Oh, yes, definitely.
You know, and that is why some of the viewers who are still dating, if a guy is not faithful, whatever, chances are that he'll still continue with that.
Oh, yes.
You know, and that is why if those issues are not dealt with in the premarital stage, because when a woman is settled in marriage, the number one thing that he expects of a husband is be faithful.
Yes.
And you see, as Patience, we miss the point.
That's very
Because in the Bible, when God cursed the woman, listen to what God says. God says to the woman, to Eve, when you bear children, you'll bear them with sorrow. The right Hebrew translation of that word sorrow is sensitivity. Mudimo ufilabo me extra sensitivity. We call it the sixth sense.
Yes.
You know, I call it the GPS, the global position system. Mama watseba, if you're not faithful, if watabalaza, wajola, unalidi lokwa, unalibo sonto, bo pinky, whatever, walko khaynal mamiki, she knows.
She will know.
Because she's
Instincts,
smiling does not mean
yes.
that she's stupid. Because sometimes as guys, we get full core. No, bro. She might be saying, hi, honey, hi, you bastard. Maybe I'll say, you know, because she's trying to protect you, to give you that grace. So the number one need, a married woman, is faithfulness. Be faithful in marriage.
True.
If there are challenges, talk to me. Communicate. Tell me the good, the bad, the ugly. Which is number two. The second thing that a woman needs is communication.
Oh, yes.
You see, one day, unfortunately, we're on AM station. We communicate without information. We would say, how was your day, Arashak? Everything. I mean, you have said nothing. And the problem with that lack of communication, even when it's time to make love to a woman, men don't communicate. I always tell Majida, you communicate sex to a woman's mind the whole day before you make love to her body. But what do most men do? No communication. He gets into bed, up. What do you mean up? What do you mean All the whole day you never communicated, and then suddenly you want us to make love. Communication. The woman does not want to control you. She wants to connect with you. Tell her the good, the bad, and the ugly. And it's a need that the women have. But the third need, this one is very important, is security.
Yes.
House patient.
Oh, yes.
Women want security in a marriage. They're not stupid. They know that it's a competition.
Yes.
In fact, today it's difficult for men because some of the men don't even care whether you're married.
Yes.
They don't even mind being dinyatsi.
Yeah.
People say, no, unawake, upramai kunawake, namfuna ba
It shows that he's responsible.
He's responsible. Nanje mfuna just kuti ngitabalaze naye. So a man needs to give a woman security. And I think that is where most of us as men, we lack.
What do you mean security?
First of all, security in the home. You know, in Mamiki's absence, she must feel covered. I'm secured with Molapo. Molapo meets a lot of women in the corporate world, in the church, in the community. But I know after God, the most important person in my life is my wife. And Molapo will defend me, speak well of me in the absence. But security also means in the area of finance.
Yes.
House patients, it is said today, unfortunately when they die, they leave liabilities.
Sorrow.
Yeah. You know, we want Majita, and I'm challenging you for it. One day, your wife must celebrate you le bana. Ga ba kry-a your will. Ba bine pina lefu la hai la mphidisa. Ke security again.
Oh, yes.
Financial security, personal security, financial security, and then security at home, stability. Ge bana ba bona gore bra Michael go tshwere gantle aus patience.
Oh, yes.
There is peace.
Oh, yes.
There is security, not only for you, but for the children.
For the kids. A wise man leaves an inheritance
Yes.
for his children's children.
Awesome. Awesome.
Oh,
Awesome.
Wow. That
Yeah.
is very good. And then for women that cannot get that, maybe the man is not working and they are the main providers in their own homes, would you say, I heard someone say, God is the provider of the home. He never said a man will be the provider.
And
What do you have to say?
And I don't believe that, because that's why God created Adam first. And then the word helper, suitable, it gives you that idea that Adam was also providing. And it's always been the case. But what if I was span?
Yes.
You know, God forbid, maybe the lids are blind, you've been retrenched, whatever. Does that mean that you cannot give security? You can.
You still can.
You can still provide for your wife in that,
Direction.
give direction, guidance, support. But libo mama sometimes because even if utlisa check, even if you know it's your money, technically, but if it's more sweetie, Kiezaga, what would you like for us to spend? Which area? So that involved, so that he feels that he is a provider.
Yes.
Because Pina Eyabazalonia Jehovah Jireh, my provider. I don't buy that into it. Kir, my husband Jireh, my provider. Your husband's supposed to provide. So libo mama ralikupa in marriage if you make more money or if ngwenya Hispanic, make sure you involve him.
Yes.
Let him feel he is part of the decision making on how we use that money. But no, and they're providing support for mama. Go spanning. Forget about it. No, forget you, Kobondela. At this time, in this season in your life, it's a temporary situation. Let her go and find the bread. But when I provides the security and the stability, and then God will honor you for that.
Oh, wow. So when a man provides for his home, it gives the home good security.
But not only that, even with us as men, or whatever, God has given a man a mandate to provide.
Yeah.
That is why he feels a little bit disillusioned, discouraged, whatever, because it's in us. I've got to kitabalas, I've got to I've got to do that. But whilst that is the norm, let's also not forget, as we said, there are guys who cannot provide. But mafoetu, providing does not also mean necessarily financial. It also means you can provide in other areas, because it refers a sense of significance, a sense of belonging, or at least, Lina, I am adding value to this wonderful home.
You know, I once read a book, and this lady is called Fascinating Womanhood. And this lady is saying a man was created to be a provider.
Yes.
And because of that, if he gets a woman that is making a lot of money and he feels he's not needed as a provider, he will go to a mkuku where he will buy a pack of vors, and the woman would say, oh, thank you so much for the loaf of bread, thank you, because they want to be affirmed, they want to be praised. If he feels I'm not needed here, he will go to some place where he will feel needed. So even if you have to ask money for petrol or money for bread, let him do something.
Awesome.
At home.
Yes, but still coming back to the needs of a man, we need to create that environment conducive, which is another need of a woman, romance.
Yes.
In that era, romance. No. Romance is the little things, like you said, the little things that count to a woman.
Oh, yes.
But you know, sometimes, Majita, the danger is we can get so used to mama, not finding out, you know, yes, you might have everything, but those little things, an SMS, I appreciate you. You mean a lot to me.
Yes.
You've gone that extra mile. What
Thank you.
Banana flavor. You know, little things like that. It goes a long way. Flowers. Flowers. Okay, I perfume. Got flowers king. I mean, buy it flowers, then buy it a perfume. It's the little things like that that a woman needs. But sometimes we can also get used, and then the marriage becomes boring. And when the marriage becomes boring, and then because today they're competitive. It is true.
It is true.
We're living in a highly competitive, the temptations are massive. Because when mama now begins to shut down, udimogong is out.
Yes.
And then suddenly, oh no, I'm providing up and down. No. It does not profit us as men to be public successes in the workplace whilst we're private failures.
That's very crucial.
Romance can mean, sweetheart, let's have a tea together. Let's switch off our phone. Let's switch off all of our computers. Let's just take a walk. It's little things like that, Majida, so that you know, a woman feels what appreciated is inside of a woman. It's those little things that, you know, will make her
And when you
happy.
go out there and other men appreciate you and you think, my husband has never told me that I look good, and, you know, it really contributes.
It does. I mean, things like the earrings, how sweet your hairstyle is different. Majida, sometimes I will your hairstyle is different, whatever, you know, nix. Uchinjali lipstick, or maybe when I won't forget. So I'm saying is women want us to be romantic. Being romantic meaning, you know, be extra and cautious, what is different, and comment, catch her doing something right. It will do wonders to a woman.
One of the things that I really get people asking me is, how do we get our husband to discuss issues of wills? Because, you know, when they start talking about, hey, can we do a will? And they say, why are you expecting me to die? Are you planning my death? You know, but things happen and they leave families, you know, in a mess.
As patients, you know, last week we had a session in Majita Fela, and which is why I like to encourage, maybe in the future, for us, maybe through your program, read something just for Majita Fela.
Okay.
Because things like that are important. If I really trust my wife, you mentioned a powerful scripture, a wise man, not a stupid man, not an idiot. A wise man leaves an inheritance for his children and his children's children. That's legacy stuff.
Yes.
But the problem, if then it means I don't trust you. No, Mlapo, if media I'm worth, Majita, they will hit me, you know, but I'm vice or what. So what do I do? You hide. How many women, how many families, God forbid, they don't even know the password, whatever. It's a mess. When you do a will, it's the absolute trust. Sweetheart, this is it, but because I believe in the life hereafter, I want to be sure I leave something wonderful, so that all of us are going to die unless the rapture happens. And I have a suspicion Jesus is in no hurry, because Jesus loves people.
Oh, I like
so it might take another 100 years, another 200 years. Right now, Ratsabar Mudimo at least 70 years.
Yes.
So Mandela, if it's 95, 94, keep on us.
Yes.
But the greatest legacy you can leave, it's a legacy for your wife and your children, and you know, your children's children. So we need to be able to deal with those things while we are still fresh and while our mind are still, you know, a sharp.
Oh, I like that. We're out of time. When we come back from a break, we will continue talking about the legal issues within marriage.
Friendship is important and needs to be cherished. Get a copy, The Heart of Friendship, by Patience Mlengana. Galatians 6 verse 7 says, "Do not be deceived. God is not mocked. For whatever a man sows, that he will also reap." Get a copy, My Personal Sowing and Reaping Journal, by Patience Mlengana. These are now available at Rema Bookshop and online live store.
Welcome back to Table Talk. Around the table with me today is David Molapo. We are talking about marriage, women's needs in marriage. David Molapo, there's a lot of women that have been talking to me. Some of them, they are married according to customary law. The man has paid lobola, but they've never been to Home Affairs to get a certificate. Can that stand in a court of law? Is there security?
Unfortunately, we see a lot of these kind of sad stories. You know, as a pastor, when we have buried a spouse and then now we need to talk about, you know, properties, taking care of children. Unfortunately, legally, if there is no paperwork, the women will always be cheated. So I like to encourage women, doesn't matter ke customer law tshwanetse le sign pampiri. Not only to protect the husband but to protect wena but bana. Assets are involved in these things. And Morena, more and more, that is why in the churches we need to empower and teach our people. While we respect our customs, but the life that we are living, in God we trust, all else must bring signatures.
Oh yes, definitely. You know, before you came, I spoke to a lady. She lost her fiancé 30 days or so before the wedding date. They had paid lobola, done everything, and they had bought a house together with the husband-to-be. And when they were signing the papers, so they had to sign next of kin, the man said his mother, and she also put his own mother. And he died a day before the registration of the house.
Wow, wow.
And after that, the family started fighting that 50% belongs to us, 50% belong to you. And she could not prove in a court of law that she was married. Even though they had paid lobola, there was no proof. There was no paper that she could take from Home Affairs. You know, it is important for women to have security. In fact, for both parties.
For both parties, man, because it's vice versa. But that is why I want to encourage programs like yours, where maybe in the future you must even bring some legal people, both men and women, you know, to talk about those legal issues. Because right now, things like family trust, it's good for people to marry in community of property. But if there are some businesses aside, then those can be put separately or through family trust. You're not hiding. Everybody is aware of this. But most of us, particularly Christians, we are so careless in some of those things. So I applaud you. That is why Kikupa, or maybe in the future, you need to have legal guys so that they empower people. But also from Table Talk, when you now do these sessions live in the different communities, churches, as part of these marriage seminars, let's also put in the legal aspects of marriages so that people can ask and find the relevant answer so that we avoid mistakes. Again, things don't end wrong, they start wrong. And if I have learned anything from these two programs that we've done, House Patience, you're dealing with real issues, and these viewers, these wonderful viewers, learn. If I'm not anything in writing, when I'm find that thing, well, then you need some serious counseling because you need to be protected. Pride needs to be protected. It is a need of a woman. We're talking about that. She needs security. And one way of being secured is to have a piece of paper that in any court of law, you can be able to get what belongs to you, rightfully so.
You spoke about a trust, and you know, a trust doesn't die. Even if a woman dies or a man dies, it continues to live. So it is a form of putting security for businesses or even assets. Because if that asset, if this woman's asset was in a trust, it would have continued to live. There would be no fights or anything like that. Wow.
But the Bible is clear, my people die, not because of the devil, lack of knowledge. You know, so Mamiki, we never knew these things, but now when we begin to be exposed, which hence we are talking about even the needs of women, because most of the time, Majita, we protect ourselves. But I want to encourage Majita, one of the needs of a woman is that kind of security, where you know the assets are taken care of, not only for us, for the children. By the way, you can also put